great person to follow because she's really open and honest about this stuff. And I think the more people that are open and honest about it, the better. The more people that you follow in your feed who are feeling the way that you are and are being honest about it, the more helpful social media is to you. If your feed is full of all of these people who only share the good stuff, and who are constantly, I like to call it productivity porn, this go, 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 you can do it, smash it, you're not allowed to take a break, taking a break's lazy, those kind of people. If you follow everybody like that, that again is going to make you compare yourself to them, and that's not going to be helpful for anyone. So Carrie mentioned that she's been feeling really burnt out as well, and how difficult it is to motivate yourself to do anything creative or work related when you are feeling burnt out. I think a lot of us are feeling that way when you just feel like there's so much on your plate and there's a huge weight on your shoulders. It's harder than ever to get started, and I've definitely been feeling that over the last couple of weeks. I feel like even taking the simplest things off my to-do list are like near impossible. Like everything feels like moving a mountain right now. And I do feel that everything is taking me longer than usual as well. And I think part of that is I'm just sort of struggling to focus. I feel like my thoughts are a little bit all over the place. I am a writer at heart. I always have been, like since I was a kid. I was always scribbling things in journals and notebooks. I studied journalism at uni. I don't write as much as I used to, but even writing has been a struggle for me, and usually that's the thing that comes most naturally. I just can't seem to string my words together. You can probably tell by listening to this podcast. So yeah, Carrie, I'm feeling it as well, and I totally agree that it is really hard to motivate yourself and to feel inspired, especially creatively, when you're feeling totally burnt out. For me, when I'm feeling that way, I try and just give myself a break. So on the really especially tough days, if I feel like I'm not feeling it, not very motivated, not going to be able to create anything that I'm excited about or proud of, I try and just give myself a break. So normally on my to-do list, I have a list of tasks that I kind of have to get done. Maybe I've promised a client that I would get something out to them, or I have emails to answer, things like that. So what I'll do is I'll tick off all of the stuff that absolutely cannot wait. And then the rest of the stuff, I'll try and just push it to the next day, or, if there are things that aren't super urgent, push it to the next week and just give myself a bit of a break. After I finish recording this podcast episode, I'm actually meeting a friend for a long walk outside, because the last 2 days, as I said, I was up till like 2 a.m. working, and I am absolutely shattered. And I do have some work I need to get done this afternoon, but I'm just going to give myself a couple of hours off, get a nice coffee, go for a walk and a chat, and hopefully come back feeling a little bit more refreshed. So I am no expert in this category, but that is what I do when I'm feeling burnt out. And I'm also trying to be a little bit better about being easy on myself, and instead of beating myself up for the fact that everybody else is doing so much more than me, again, perception, I'm trying to just explain to myself that we're in a pandemic. I'm feeling quite sad about Christmas, to be honest. This is my favorite time of year. I love Christmas. I would have the tree up and be watching Christmas movies from the start of November if my husband would not make tons of fun of me for it. I absolutely love it. And this year I just don't feel that excited. I've really had to push myself to be excited about it for Charlie, who is 3 and is, this is probably the most excited she's been about Christmas. And I'm really trying for her, but I should have been going home to visit my family for Christmas this year, and I haven't been home for Christmas for 3 years now, so this was supposed to be the year. And obviously with everything going on, it's just not going to happen. So I haven't seen my mum and dad for 14 months now. I haven't seen my sister and my nephew for 12 months. They actually came out to visit last December, so that wasn't quite as long. But yeah, it's been really hard emotionally trying to deal with all of that, plus the business overwhelm, plus just the day-to-day chaos around us. My friend Denise over at Sandstone Castles also made a comment about general lockdown burnout, but also like the whole work from home and Zoom situation that we've all had to get used to dealing with. So for those who don't know, Denise is a fabulous marketing consultant. I started working with her in the spring, and she's really given me some great impartial perspective on my own marketing, and she has loads of great tips and stuff over on her Instagram, so you should give her a follow too. But I totally agree, Denise. I think despite the fact that we are all quite used to this whole like working from home, Zoom call meetings instead of in-person meetings, that kind of thing, despite the fact that we've done that for, what is it now, 9 months or something crazy, 8 or 9 months, it still feels like it's taking its toll. And I don't know if that's because the lockdown measures have picked up and there's kind of no other option, or what exactly it is, but there's a different kind of exhaustion from being on the laptop more. I totally agree, because before this I would always meet clients or colleagues. We would always meet in person, and sometimes we might meet and go for a walk and a chat. Normally we would meet for coffee, sometimes we would meet for a drink or lunch or brunch, and it kind of gives you a change of scenery. Seeing people in person is just different. You read their expressions and their tone and everything differently. I feel like Zoom just takes so much more effort. It still doesn't feel natural, even though we're used to it. And I think if you're more of an extrovert like myself, and Denise, I think you are as well, we both draw from other people's energy. So if you are tucked up in an office with a laptop in front of you all day, and you don't really have any real face-to-face interaction that isn't through a screen, that totally affects your energy. And I'm feeling it. Like I'm happy that we have the technology. I don't mean to sound ungrateful for it, because I think things would be a lot worse if we couldn't video call and meet that way. But it is definitely a challenge. And the working from home. So Denise, I know that you've got a lovely office that you work out of. I am quite used to working from home, but I do it really differently. So normally I'll work from home 1 or 2 days. I'll be out doing shoots or meetings or whatever else a couple of days. And I quite often work in my local coffee shops. I have my favorite one. Shout out to Willow Grove around the corner from me. I talk about them quite a lot on my Instagram because they are fab. But yeah, I'll often go and sit for a few hours and buy myself a couple of nice coffees or lunch or whatever, and just get a change of scenery to get some work done. And obviously right now there's not even the option there to do that. A lot of us also have the added struggle of working from home with our partners. So I live in a 2-bed flat. I live with my husband and my daughter. So my husband and I have a room, and my daughter has a room. So we don't have an office in the house. I had a desk set up in the hallway, which was really more of a dumping ground, if I'm being honest. But when my husband started working from home, he is working in the kitchen. So he's at the kitchen table, which adds a whole nother set of frustrations, because he's on calls all day and I feel like I can't get in and get a coffee. But aside from that, I didn't really have a place to work. And sitting working in the hallway when someone else is on Zoom calls in the kitchen, you can hear each other and it doesn't work so well. So we have actually cleared out a storage cupboard in our tenement flat, and that is where I'm working. It's also where I'm recording this podcast. So I will put a picture up in the stories on my Instagram account later just to show you. It's not as bad as it sounds, apart from the fact that we've got like the gas and electrical meters in here, which we will need to box in at some point. We're not very handy, so we'll probably need someone to help us with that. But I've moved my desk in here. I've hung up all of my stuff, all of my little inspirational posters and cards and things, and I've put in a little storage shelf. So it's actually all right. There's enough room for me to sit here at my desk. It's not too crowded, but yeah, we've definitely had to adjust in our household, and I would be lying if I said there haven't been any days where we've been at each other's throats a bit. Mostly me, because I'm used to having the space to myself to do what I like with. And I also, when I'm writing or recording podcasts or things, I find I need the quiet, I need the concentration. And yeah, it's challenging. It's challenging trying to share your space. And then the other thing is, most of us are used to having some time apart from our partners. We probably work in different places, and there's, a big chunk of the day where we don't see each other, and all of a sudden we are stepping over each other all day, all week, 24/7. So yeah, I agree, Denise. Definitely been a challenge. I know that you can't wait to get back into your office. I can't wait to just be able to go and sit and work in a coffee shop or at the library, and just get a change of scenery and to get back to meeting people in person. Because there's just something, yeah, like I said, it's the energy and it's the, the naturalness of being able to just chat face to face. Another person commented on the post, so that is We Wild Monsters. She does fabulous illustrations. We've bought quite a few as gifts for friends. And she does lovely cards and stuff as well. And I need to actually get one for Charlie's room too. So Emily had said, she's just trying to focus on Christmas right now and kind of almost just pretend all is well a little bit. So I know you put a little laughing face there, because it's not exactly easy to do, is it? But no, I totally get that. I think loads of us are feeling like we need a break. I think it's absolutely a well-deserved break. So a lot of people are just, they can't wait for Christmas because I think it's some time off. It's generally a happy time. It's, time to spend with family, although that's going to be very limited this year if it happens at all. But even just time to spend with our own family, downtime, chill out, watch Christmas movies, eat chocolate, drink nice wine. Really right now that sounds like heaven, and it still feels like ages away, even though we're only 3 weeks now away from Christmas, which is crazy. Also, Emily, you have 2 small children at home, so you've done amazing. She has had baby number 2 during this lockdown and has still managed somehow to get loads of cool Christmas cards done and new prints in her shop. And so I think you've done fantastic. And if you are ready for Christmas to come and just pretend that things are not so crazy for a couple of weeks, I say go for it. Absolutely. We all deserve that. So speaking to that notion of how much we have managed to get done, I think that's another thing that maybe we are all overlooking. So as much as, you can compare yourself to other people, and again, this is all perception because a lot of people are only going to share their highlight reel. They're not going to tell you the tough stuff or the things that didn't work out. But if you are feeling, like you haven't done as much as other people or you're not happy with what you've accomplished, try and look back and see what you have accomplished despite everything that's going on. So, for me, I was beating myself up for all the things I didn't do, but look at all the things that I did do. I started this podcast, which had been a pipe dream for at least a year, if not longer. I got my websites up to date. I launched some new services. I've done loads of sort of creative projects and just tried new things. I have done some client work as well. As I said, the scope had changed, but that actually led me to sort of revisit the way that I work in general and what kind of things I could do better. And a lot of that was done while, being full-time mum to a toddler, and dealing with everything else that's going on around us. So not that that is anything amazing or deserves a trophy or anything, but those are a few of the things that I've managed to get done that I'm really proud of. And I think if you're feeling quite down and quite burnt out and like you haven't accomplished anything, grab a pen and paper and actually write out some of the stuff that you have finished. What did you manage to tick off your to-do list? What projects did you get done? What things did you change about your website or your social media? Anything that, was maybe sitting on a list for ages that you didn't have time to do and you were really busy with client work. And give yourself some credit where credit is due. I'm actually going to write out a list and put it up on my little bulletin board above my desk. I know that sounds a bit silly, but every time that I start to beat myself up about not doing enough, I'm going to refer back to that list. And I think that is, it's good to remind yourself of your accomplishments. Shout out about them on social media. Go onto my Instagram and share one of your accomplishments below today's episode post, because I think the more that we give ourselves credit openly and say it out loud, the better we're going to feel about how much work we actually are getting done. Because I'm willing to bet you've got a lot more done than you think. On the other side of that, those that are beating ourselves up for not doing enough are the people who have actually been busier than ever during this pandemic. And I know it's really easy to go, oh, lucky them, they're making more money than ever, they're bringing in more business than ever. And yeah, that's fabulous that their businesses are doing so well. But you also have to remember that that has its own unique challenges. So, there are some businesses who things have just really taken off.